How are we doing, everyone? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I did get a chance to see Megan this weekend. I was really excited to see it. Um, it was, it's not an original idea. It's basically The Boy and Chucky. It's actually, everybody's comparing it to those two, but it's Chucky meets the Terminator. That's really what this film is. It's not an original idea in the least. But was it fun? Was it a fun film? Or was it just a recycled idea? So it was James Wan, who I'm a big fan of. He does all the Conjuring stuff and things to that effect. And Akilah Cooper, who I had not heard of. I hadn't heard that name. But they both wrote it together. It was a story by James Wan, and then Akilah actually wrote it. But he's done The 100, Malignant, which I also thought was a pretty interesting film. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. He's done just a pile of different things. And really, really good stuff. Witches of East End, Luke Cage, and Jupiter's Legacy. Which I haven't seen. Jupiter's Legacy. That's a comic book film, comic book series that's on, I believe it's Netflix. But really good stuff. And I think the biggest thing is that this film does not take itself seriously. It has fun with itself, but also delivers the chills and the slashing and stuff to that effect. And it doesn't. I wouldn't have minded this. But it didn't take the gore to the next level either. I think because they want some of the teenagers to come in or whatever else. So it doesn't really take the gore too far over the top. There really is very little blood, actually. And every time that there is anything disgusting, it takes it, off screen. I don't want to go too far into spoilers. There won't be any spoilers in this for the most part. But it was directed by Gerard Johnstone. I don't know anything about the guy. I haven't seen anything that he's in. This is the thing about horror, and people don't understand. This is from Blumhouse, who've done, they came out. They almost became the new Lionsgate kind of thing, where Lionsgate was doing Saw and stuff like that. And this Blumhouse basically came in and said, we're going to be doing low budget horror, and they've really done an amazing job of inserting themselves into that genre. So, and I think they're going to start, kind of going out of that genre a little bit and kind of sneaking out of the periphery. But they do a really good job of saying, okay, well, there's no actors in here. There's no name actors in here whatsoever. Like Allison Williams, who plays the main role, she plays the aunt. She's from The Girls. She really hasn't done anything. Violet McGraw plays Katie. She's arguably she's the main role, depending. But I think between the two of them, those are the main ones. And of course, Megan. Also, Megan's played by 3 different people, so it's kind of like the Darth Vader of the group here. Violet McGraw, she's acting for like the last 4 years. I don't know how young she is, but she's pretty young. But she's done. Considering how her age, she's done a lot of stuff, a lot of TV and movies. She played young Nell in The House on Haunted Hill or whatever one that is. So she's played the younger versions of people and things to that effect. So as far as Megan's concerned, we had a voiceover actress who was Jenna Davis. She does a lot of voiceover stuff. And then you have 2 girls that played the role. And I think a lot of that is because, they did different things. One was a dancer, one was something else. But also when you got to remember that when you're on a film set, you're working 12 to 15-hour days. And when you talk about younger people, you can't do that by law. You can only work them 8 hours, and they have to go in and out of schooling and stuff to that on set. So you have to have a teacher on set. If you do that, you hire 2, and that's why I think the Olsen twins, on some of the stuff that they were always able to to swap in and out, because when one's going to school, one isn't, and you can have them on set back and forth, and that's what I think what they did with Megan as well. So, I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, some of the dancing stuff, it looks too human, but I think a lot of that stuff was pre-sound effects and things to that effect, so it was edited a little differently, that particular scene. And what they did with the face was so freaky. So they did I thought they did a really good job. Obviously, it's a person in a suit with prosthetics on. But by the end, you do believe it, that it's a robot. And it does. It moves a little bit too human-like at times, and I would like to have them just skirt it back a little bit. But when you add the sound effects of the whirring of everything and things to that effect, I thought it really worked. The ending, I would have liked. I would have liked it to be a little bit different, but I see why they did it the way they did it, because it gave an arc for Katie. And it brings up a very interesting thing. So when you're creating, they created the robot to be a surrogate parent, and I don't think it was based on that, but it was brought up that you're spending too much time with the robot and not as much time with actual children, and the parents are letting in her case, her parents were killed, so the aunt came in and she wasn't really a parent. So her giving the robot actually solved two problems, because it gave her a friend to play with, and she was able to work and not have to try to be a parent. And that's where the arc kind of comes in. But, she became addicted to spending time with the robot, and where it became, she started to lash out when you took the robot away from her. And I thought that was all interesting. That was actually probably pretty true to life. And that's what I kind of liked about it, is that it really delved into, us as human beings and what we can get addicted to. Look at our phones and things like that. You know how many times I go to restaurants and a couple is sitting across one another, not talking. They literally have their phone in their hands and across the table from one another instead of conversing. So I think this is a very interesting thing, and then you got to think about that portion of it when you're watching this. It's not, and that's what I like about it too, is that yes, it was a horror movie, and yes, it's over the top, and yes, it doesn't take itself seriously. But if you really think about what it's based on, you're like, yeah, we have a problem as a society, that the electronics are paired with us more than other people. So it's pretty interesting. Anyway, so it's a movie worth seeing. I thought so. I thought I had a really good time when I saw it. My problems, I did have a problem with some things. So in the beginning, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but in the beginning, of course, they have to go in where the thing's not working, right? So she's trying to develop this thing, and I would think it's very intricate to have it move like that and things to that effect, and have all the interior workings of the AI and everything to that effect, where it's learning. And the very first time we see it, it blows up. So it's not working, right? And then it's almost like a week later, she has it working fine, and she had all the pieces come in and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? That took me out a little bit, where it's just, I know they were trying to progress the plot, but it just didn't feel right. And I think that it would have been better off if she said, look, I've been working on this thing for 2 years on the side for a toy company, and it just needs like one or two tweaks. I know they were trying to go for the laughter there, that it blows up, but it kind of went, how'd you get it put back together so quickly? I mean, it was completely destroyed. So all the gears, the mechanism, the wiring, all that stuff, and I just didn't buy it. So I really wish they hadn't done that. So that, of all the scenes, that was the one that I liked the least. But at least it was in the beginning of the film, so I got to progress to the end of the film and like a lot of the other stuff. So I kind of forgot about the beginning. So that's my take on Megan. Again, the prosthetics they used for the face, and the way the mouth moved, and they did some stuff with the eyes. And in fact, when I was leaving, this guy said, "Wow, that was so freaky. I don't even know if I can look at my action figures the same way anymore." So that was pretty funny. So it's I definitely think it's worth seeing, and I think a lot of people are having fun with it because it had a $12 million budget. So think about that. All right, so you have Avatar at 400 and something million, and then you have Megan at $12 million. But again, they have very little special effects. They had no known cast, so the cast probably got paid practically nothing. And it was really a person in a suit for the most part. So it's kudos to them for pulling off a film that now has made over $45 million the first weekend. So if you multiply it times 2.3 at 12, and I do see the posters everywhere. I mean, there's posters everywhere. It's online everywhere. So for all I know, they spent $50 million on advertising. But if they spent that much, let's just say $30 million. Let's say they spent $30 million. So it's not unusual for a low budget film to have more prints and advertising than they have the budget for the film itself. So you have $12 million plus $30 million, right? So that's 45 plus whatever, right? So let's just say all in at a $50 million budget. So that would mean that it would need to make $100 million. So the thing is that it made $45 million the first weekend. So the chance of it making $100 million is pretty good. So, and for all I know, it was 25 million, whatever. So it, it only needs to make 80 or whatever. So anyway, it's going to make money. But it didn't really set itself up for, it kind of set itself up for a sequel, but not really. So we'll see where it goes with that. If I said, I need to make a sequel to this, they'd have to stretch to make a sequel. So it'll be interesting if they do that, where they would take it. Anyway, it's worth seeing. Go see it. Definitely support it. I love supporting independent film, and Blumhouse is definitely in that juncture. So definitely go see it and support them, because Avatar doesn't need any more money. All right, remember to like, comment, subscribe, the whole bit. And again, Tales of Ravenor has now finished the editing process. It's probably going to take me the next 3 weeks to go through the edits to make sure I like what the editor did. And then it has to be, everything has to be correlated for print. So before it can go to print. So I have to go to another person for that. But that should only take them a week or so. But I think in the next couple of months, I think Tales of Ravenor is going to be ready to go. And I have been thinking about where I was going with the sequel to it, the second book. And I kind of like some of the stuff that I came up with. So we'll see what we do with that. And so Lords of LA, you'll see Lords of LA and Destiny Aurora behind me. I'll put links in if you haven't ordered them yet, because I'm going to be running the second Kickstarter for the second issue for Lords of LA. Also, Tales of Ravenor. I'll put the link in there if you want to order that. Obviously, Lords of LA I can send out immediately, the first issue. Tales of Ravenor is going to be a little bit. And then Destiny Aurora, the audio book is on Audible right now. I'll put a link to that. Definitely support that. And I think you really enjoy it anyway. It's the voice actors did a great job. All right, so thank you very much, and tell me what you think of the film. Hopefully, you'll see it, and we can talk about it. And again, have a great day, and talk to you soon. And thank you so much for supporting.